So let's get into the match preview. FA Cup against League One Morecambe. They sit 19th in League One, 1 point above the relegation. I remember last time we played a team like this was Wycombe at White Hart Lane. We made a big meal of that one. Things like this can happen in the third round of the FA Cup, can't they? We've seen it time and time again over the years, pretty much throughout my lifetime. When you're looking at Morecambe, we're going to welcome back a couple of old faces in Jonathan Obika and Shayon Harrison to the stadium. Obviously, they left when we were still at White Hart Lane, but they will come back and have a taste of the new stadium. It'd be nice to see them back. I mean, I thought those players were going to make it at Spurs when they were coming through the ranks.
Yeah, I mean, they are two that were really heavily spoken about. Good morning to you, Ben, and good morning to everyone in the show. What I will say is, the third round of the FA Cup is a very, very special day.
It's an occasion.
It's our next best to Christmas Day. But yeah, it is. I've grown up. I think the FA Cup still has the magic that it used to. Yeah, it's been watered down a bit to me personally. I adore this tournament, and the third round is always a special day. There's always upsets. There's always a few surprises. So it's great that it's come around again.
What would it mean to you to win the FA Cup?
Absolutely everything. Absolutely everything. This cup, like I said, I was unfortunate enough to see the 87 one. That's the first real FA Cup that I can remember as a kid. But then obviously 91, I remember very, very clearly. And the fact that we haven't been to a final since then is staggering. It's a very, very special cup. It's still got all the romance for me, and I would love nothing more that come what may. We are walking up the stairs and lifting.
You know why it's lost a bit of romance for me is because just Arsenal have been so successful in it.
Yeah, and I've just realised they don't walk up at Wembley anymore, do they? I think the FA Cup now, or maybe
not anymore.
I think they may have done, but COVID recently they've been lifting it like Leicester did at the last season. They did it at the bottom, didn't they? So who knows? But yeah, Arsenal unfortunately have been very, very successful in it. So
when I was growing up, we'd won it more times than Arsenal.
Well, it was, everyone knew it was the Spurs Cup, and the whole song "Lucky" for Spurs when the year ends in one came up because of it. We're the first team to win it 8 times. We were very, very, and even if we didn't win it, we used to religiously get very, very far into the tournament. And we just haven't reached it. Like you said, Arsenal have certainly they're the most they've got the most wins for it. So we've got to bridge that gap.
So we've won it 8 times. I think they've won it about 10 times now, or something like that.
Well, I think they've won it a lot more than that. Really? I think something in the last 9 years they've won it 6 times.
Wow.
Or something like that. It's some ridiculous stat. I mean, I think they've won it the same amount of times as us since we last won it in 1991.
That is ridiculous. They've won it 14 times. Manchester United have won it 12 times, and us and Chelsea are on 8 times.
Yes, and you got to remember we were the first team to get to 8.
Yeah, I know that, yeah.
And we have just been eclipsed.
Massively.
Big time.
Massively.
And yeah, but hopefully, I mean, if you said to me now FA Cup, Carabao Cup or whatever, FA Cup every single time, this cup is so, so very special to me.
In terms of the game, I mean, we've got a massive game obviously on Wednesday against Chelsea. How much of a changed team are you expecting for this weekend?
I hope wholesale changes. Wholesale. I think you're going to have to put a couple of regulars in there just to give a bit of experience. And when I say that, it could be even someone who's an Ollie Skip, still a youngster who's got a bit of an engine, but with the experience now. But we definitely, it just goes to show, like you said, that Wycombe game, we still played some big hitters there. Son got the winner and everything, and it just goes to show that you can't just say, it's a team that are struggling. To them, this is their Christmases come at once. For the Morecambe fans to go to a stadium like ours, for the Morecambe players to go to a stadium like ours, and also the returning players, like you said. So yeah, there needs to be a couple, and I mean literally a couple first teamers in there. What two? I have no idea.
Would you, looking at our striker options, I mean, Kane has to play, doesn't he?
You look at it, Son definitely, if it comes to Son and Kane, who needs a rest more, I think Son is crying out for a rest. So you may even see him start, or is it you put Scarlett up top and you have Kane on the bench should he be needed?
Yeah, I mean, how do you see this game going? Even if we do make wholesale changes, like you say, do you see it going a similar way like the Wycombe game? End-to-end battle, and us maybe just nicking it, or do you see us with a resounding victory if we make wholesale changes?
Do you know what? If we make wholesale changes, the way I'm looking at it right now is, as we've said, for the first 20 minutes of games, we seem to just be all over the shop and don't settle. I think it will be vital that we have to, and we can't, like we said, they're League One. We can't underestimate what happens in this
Struggling
cup.
League One as well.
Yeah, you can't underestimate what actually happens in this cup. And in this cup, shocks happen, so we've got to be on our guard. But this is a game we should comfortably see off.
I'm just going to try get up our past FA Cup third round performances and see how who we've kind of played and see, because we haven't had any shocks in the FA Cup for a while now, haven't we?
No.
We played Colchester, that was in the League Cup.
I think the last big shock, and I do mean big shock, and it was a decent team we played, was obviously that Man City game when we were 3-0 up at half time and lost 4-3.
I remember that.
That was obviously not because of the team, but the manner of the result was a huge shock. And I'm trying to remember, I can't think any come out to mind like major shocks since then.
Well, I've got it up here.
Let's have a look.
The last time we've lost in the third round was... One second. Last time we lost it in the third round, we played Marine last year. Year before we played Middlesbrough, took them to a replay, 1-2-1. Year before we played Tranmere, 1-7-0. I remember that was there. Lorente and Aurier scoring. Aurier scoring 2 goals that day and Lorente getting a hat-trick. Before that was AFC Wimbledon, 18, 3-0. Aston Villa, 2-0 the year before.
That's when Ben Davies scored a goal.
Yeah, Ben Davies and Heung-min Son. The year before we drew with Leicester and then beat them in the replay. Burnley, the year before, beat them in the replay. The year before that, we lost to Arsenal in the third round.
Oh, that was when Walcott got his injury, isn't it?
It's when Danny Rose slipped on the halfway line, I think.
I think that's when Walcott went off and he did that, didn't he?
Yeah. Year before that, Coventry we beat in the third round. Cheltenham, the year before that. Charlton the year before that. Peterborough the year before that. Wigan the year before that. Reading beat him in a replay. Cardiff beat him in a replay. Wow, we haven't lost in the third round.
Yeah, third round seems like a...
Leicester, the year before that, we lost 3-2. Do you remember that when Stalteri scored that goal?
Oh, that cracker.
Yeah.
Absolute from the edge area, just bullet shot into the top court. Yeah, I do remember that.
Brighton, we beat the year before that. Palace the year before that. Coventry the year before that. Leyton Orient. But I think that Leicester game, they were a championship side then, weren't they?
They may well be.
I think they were. I think we lost them when they were a championship side.
But yeah, so it looks like the third round is a favourable round for us either way.
Yeah, I can't see many shocks in the third round. I mean, in '99, we drew with Newcastle 1-1, and we lost 6-1 in the replay.
What is it with Newcastle and big victories?
With Ginola scoring.
Oh, shit, there you go.
But nah, we haven't had an upset in the third round. It looks like in my lifetime, really.
Yeah.
In my lifetime. So, look, in terms of the third round, this should be a piece of cake, shouldn't it?
It should be. Listen, and again, it should be. And I don't see anything but a Spurs win, but this FA Cup and this third round is always the banana peel. And I just pray that we don't lose. I can't see it. Listen, we should not be losing this game by any stretch of the imagination, even if we play 11 of the 25 that we have. I think we'll see Dele Alli. I think we will see Dele. But let's see what performance he puts in. But yeah, it should be an easy win. But it all depends if they do the low block. And if they do the low block, we don't know how to break it down.
We don't know how to break it down, but we'll get a goal from somewhere.
Yeah.
Look, I think. What prediction are you going for?
Oh, you know what I'm going for Bob.
4-1.
4-1.
4-1. And no caveat to that.
No, I'm going to stick with Bob Spur all the way. No Brian prediction.
So Bob is going for 4-1 alongside Brian, and I'm going to go for 3-0. 3-0 Spurs. I think the way Conte is going to set us up, surely it will leave no room for error. The only ways the errors come if individual displays let us down. But against this struggling side in League One, look, they're going to be up for it.
Yep.
It's the game of their lives, let's be honest. They're going to be up for it. And the magic of the FA Cup and all that. But I just can't see a Conte side losing to a struggling League One side.
Like I said, I cannot see us losing. But what I want to ask you is, you've gone 3-0. I don't think Galini's kept a clean sheet, has he? And I think, I don't know what people think in the chat. I think Galini is definitely starting this game without a doubt. So it's whether he keeps a clean sheet. But yeah, like I said, convincing win, I reckon.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't had an appearance under Conte, has he?
He did Mura.
Oh, Mura, he played. That's fair enough. So we'll have to see what happens then. It's a good point you make there, that Galini hasn't made a clean sheet, and obviously he's stepped in for that Mura game. But I think Conte has got more to grips with the squad since that Mura game. Obviously, it was like his second game, wasn't it?
Yep.
After that first league game, or his third game, or something like that.
Very early. Very early.
So he hadn't really got to grips with the squad yet. I still think he hasn't really got to grips with the squad yet, but he's more involved. He knows more what he wants now and what he needs to see from these players.
Correct.
As opposed to then in the Mura game. And I don't think that happens again.
Again, we'll have to wait and see. Like I said, it should be a very, very, very convincing, very, very convincing.
I wonder who's higher level, Mura or Morecambe.
That's actually a good point. That's a good point. You got there. All right, their league isn't as hard as the League One and the Championship, or wherever they go. League Two, which looks like they may go into. But Mura got into a European competition and they beat the mighty Tottenham.
Yeah.
So that's a good question.
But look, we'll have to wait and see what happens on Sunday. It's 2 o'clock kickoff at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Me and Brian will be doing the watch along right here in the studio. And maybe you'll have an appearance from Sim as well, but we'll see what happens with that one. But look, the scorelines are Brian and Bob going for 4-1.
Correct.
I'm going for 3-0. I want to know your score predictions in the comment section below. And that is our match preview. Yes, I know, not much to preview because we don't know much about Morecambe. It's very hard to preview these third round games because you hardly know who's going to play for Tottenham.
Yep.
You don't know much about the opposition. And yeah, it's just very difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, normally when we've also, what I said to you earlier is normally when we do the predicted lineups, and anyone that's been here on Good Morning Tottenham or whatever and does the predicted lineups with you, normally you can kind of get an idea of what's going to happen. But you and me have had to predict Conte's first game, which was like, what the hell do we do? And then now this with the FA Cup, and this is going to take a lot of time, I think, to put together.
Yeah.